President Trump moments ago wrapping up yet another day in a New York City courtroom. Republican members of Congress and former presidential candidates all now showing up to support him. It wasn't always that way. Earlier this week, Senator Tommy Tuberville was among the first to show up in support of Trump there at that courthouse, and he joins us on the phone right now. Coach, good to have you back with us, sir.
Hey, Vince, how are you? I'm
doing just fine. How was your trip to New York yesterday?
You know, it was good. We went up for fundraising, but we also went up to be, not with just a Republican candidate and going to be the next president of the United States, Donald Trump, but as a friend. I mean, here's a guy that's been put in a cold, dark, dreary-looking courtroom, and they got a gag order on him. When we get there yesterday, they wouldn't let us talk to the media inside. That came straight from the judge. We had to go outside, but for several reasons: show support for him, but also be able to speak for him. Say, hey, this is what's going on. They're doing all this against him, holding him back from saying anything, but allowing Michael Cohen, all these other people to run their mouths. I mean, it's a weaponized judicial system. It's all predicated on just putting pressure on Donald Trump, trying to make him look bad. Mm-hmm. Here's a guy. I was sitting there with an open mind yesterday, so I go in. I sit there and listen to Michael Cohen, and he taped President Trump's conversations on his phone without telling President Trump. But not just his, other people's. I mean, and the guy even said on the stand, sometimes I lie to get my job done as a lawyer. And I'm thinking, if I'm the judge, I stop it right there going, okay, that's enough. If you're going to admit that you're lying, sometimes, try to get things done your way to try to be successful, this thing's over with.
Right.
Because he's been, he lied to Congress. He lied in another court system. He didn't pay his taxes, went to jail for a year, was let out on house arrest for 2 years. I mean, this guy's a criminal.
When he lied to his own client by his own admission, he was capturing audio of him and didn't reveal to his client that he was surreptitiously recording him and then disseminating the audio.
Yeah, and so we're sitting there, and they play the audio, but they had a script of the audio on screens around where you could read it, because sometimes you couldn't tell what they were saying. And I don't know why the prosecution did that, because it didn't have anything up there that was what made you think that Donald Trump broke any laws. I mean, it was just it pretty much telling the jurors, oh, by the way, I secretly, without telling my client, as a lawyer, I taped his conversations, and now you're going to play it against him. I mean, whatever happened to lawyer-client privilege, where you could actually trust your lawyer? I mean, the Democrats are absolutely destroying everything that's been built over the years. Right. And here's just another example of just going through the judicial system. They had over 20 defense attorneys, district attorneys in there yesterday. They were all assistants. Obviously, they prosecuted 3% of the crime in New York last year. The rest of them just went in the front door, out the back door. So they got nothing else to do. So they're all in there. This is their Super Bowl. They're going after the bad guy, Donald Trump. I mean, it made me sick at my stomach to see them all in there and, laughing and giggling. And it's supposed to be a closed courtroom, but they're all in there. I'm sure they're on TikTok and doing the things to make money off of Donald Trump, but it is what it is.
Well, Senator Tuberville, you said at the top of our conversation that you found the courtroom to be dreary, and I heard you say yesterday that it was very depressing inside of that room. Give us a sense of what you mean by that.
Well, the lighting was low. Everything in there was 100 years old, obviously, and that courtroom's been there forever. It's New York. Very little room. I mean, it was really cramped. They had cops every other step. I mean, there was security everywhere. And I mean, you couldn't get within 4 blocks of that building. President Trump brought that up, said, look, they won't let even our people come here. If they had other protesters coming protesting something else, I guarantee you they'd let them. But anybody that was supporting Donald Trump was not allowed to get within 4 blocks of that place. And it was cold when we first got in. Then it got hot. I mean, it was just a situation where you think, you think they'd have a more comfortable sitting if people have to go in there and sit for weeks on end in terms of a trial. Don, this was the 17th day of this debacle.
Yeah.
And of course, this judge is, he knew we were coming, so he said, I don't want anybody to be able to do any interviews with the media in my courthouse. Wait a minute, what about the First Amendment? I mean, and so we had to go outside to talk to the media, and again to get our point over.
So you were outside. The camera position is outside of the courtroom. So he's saying that in the entire building, you're not allowed to talk to the press?
Yeah, we couldn't. Well, the press was in one area, and we couldn't talk to them. So obviously, in the building, there weren't anywhere else. We had to go outside, and I forget what that park is, Lafayette Park or something like that. Mm-hmm. We had to go out into that park and do the interviews about 100 yards away. But it's all set up.
Well, it sounds like what you're describing, that courtroom, it sounds like it's meant to suck the spirit out of any human who goes in there.
Yeah, and we went back on the breaks and had lunch with President Trump, and listened to the lawyers and talking about what they had just gone through for the last couple of hours, and it's a dump. You can tell most everything in there, but again, it's old New York, but to have to spend 4 or 5 weeks into that place, and 6, 7, 8 hours a day, I can't believe these jurors. I watched the jurors. There were 15 jurors, 3 of them are alternates, and it's got to be uncomfortable for them, to have to go in there and listen to all that. But again, that's our system. Got to go through it. Again, it's just a situation where I'm sure they want to make it as tough as they possibly can on President Trump and the people that work for him. But hopefully, it backfire on them.
How did you find Judge Juan Merchan's demeanor yesterday as you were measuring him up?
Yeah, I never seen him before. He never even looked really at President Trump. But they all called him Mr. Trump. It really made me mad because you address somebody that has been a president. I know you call him President Obama, President Carter, President Reagan. Here they call him Mr. Trump. Everybody on their side addressed him as Mr. Trump. And, show respect to somebody that's been in the line of fire for the last 10 years since.
They wouldn't do that. They wouldn't do that to Obama.
Oh, no. Heck no. No, this is all by design. It's just to kind of get under your skin. This has been weaponized. The whole thing was weaponized. And here you got their star witness. He's on TikTok every night, just ripping President Trump. And President Trump can't say a word. I mean, this judge has no control over what's going on in this courtroom other than one guy, and it's Donald Trump.
Senator Tuberville, I know you have to run, so I want to ask one last question of you. Were you encouraged to see Speaker Johnson and some others show up today in support of the president? Would you like to see other lawmakers follow suit? Your example?
I think if anybody's got any opportunity to go, it'd be awesome. Again, for several reasons: show support and then be able to speak on his behalf because he can't say anything. So again, I hope we have more colleagues from both sides, the House and the Senate, go. Anybody else that wants to go that knows him, that can speak for him. But again, I think it's very important, that we all know the situation we're in our country. The Democrats are running in the ground in every area. There's not anything positive going on, and people are struggling. I mean, struggling. And this goofball Biden, they call it Bidenomics or whatever. I mean, your dollar's worth 74 cents of what it was 3 years ago out of a dollar, 74 cents. And then prices are sky high. So hopefully we run this guy out of there, but we got to get President Trump through the next few weeks, and hopefully we can overcome these next few trials. But again, they're trying to put him in jail and trying to do everything they can to keep him off the ballot.
Well, God bless you for standing up for decency. Senator Tuberville, thank you for your time today, as always. Good to talk to you.